It's Dizzy. I'm out in my garden and got a lot of work to do here with hubby being so sick and then passing away, and then of course with dad passing away later in the year. I just didn't really have the time to spend in the garden last year that I should have. So there's a lot of work that I need to get done before I'm even able to start planting. But I'm hoping to have a really good harvest this year, and I decided I'd invite everybody along for the journey. Now, if you've never grown a garden, I'm hoping that I can help you get some tips. First thing, if you've never grown a garden, start small. I have heard of people that have never grown a garden before, and they go out and they get like a quarter acre, half an acre plowed up, and they're all excited at all this food that they're going to grow, and they find that they're overwhelmed. If you've never had a garden before and you're not sure how you're going to do with it, start small. You don't want to find yourself so overwhelmed that you just give up, you're not able to do it, you just get discouraged. It's better to start small and add to it little by little until you find what works best for you. Now my garden, 30, let me see, it's 32 by 52 up to this post here. It's another 16 foot back to there. This is what I used to use when it was me and hubby and 2 kids, and it was adequate with the way that I planted. I was even able to put stuff up. Of course, when the kids grow up and move out, I was going to put an orchard in here and never got to it. I did grow elderberry, and they just basically took over. They spread from the roots, and I've been trying to get rid of them. Without much luck, I'll be doing more of that this year. So, another thing to take into consideration is, where are you going to plant your garden? This spot in my yard is literally the only space that I really had a good place to have a garden. I've got the woods on that side, that's the west side. On the east side, I have a line of trees over there. So, this is the only place that gets enough sunlight. Another thing you want to do is determine what kind of a garden do you want to have. There is no right way or wrong way to garden. Some of your options, well, container gardening, especially if you don't have much room and don't really have a yard, have a patio, you can have containers up in your garden. You might want to do raised beds. You might want to do a traditional garden. You might want to do square foot gardening. You might want to do companion planting. You might want to do a combination. Only you know what's going to be working best for you, and don't let anybody tell you different. I basically do a combination of things. So, once you've determined what kind of garden you're going to have and where you're going to have it, the next thing you want to determine is what you're going to plant. I don't like beets. I'm not going to plant beets. Why should I plant beets just because they can be easy to grow? If I'm going to grow beets, it would be something that I'd feed to the animals. But don't grow something that you're not going to eat unless you're growing it, like I said, to feed to an animal. It's not worth the space. You could be growing instead something that you want. Another thing you're going to want to make is you're going to want to make a garden plan. You're going to want to determine how much room you need for each type of plant, where you're going to put it, and come up with a plan. Now, I don't have to make a plan because my garden is basically the same thing every year. This section here will be where I plant peppers, and I'll have potatoes down that end. I'll have eggplant and hot peppers over here. And then the next thing that I'll be planting will be tomatoes. They'll be going in here. And then after the tomatoes, I'll have my corn. And then I'll be having a bunch of squash and stuff. So, like I said, I know what I'm doing. I've done it for years. I don't grow the same thing every year in the same spot. I do rotational planting because soil can get depleted from just having the same crop on it. Another thing you might want to do is you might want to go to an extension office and have your soil tested. See if there's anything that your soil really needs. There's all kinds of things that you can add to the soil. Of course, if you have animals, bedding from chicken, if you have horses, of course, horse manure, cow manure, anything like that. And you just want to make sure when you're putting it on that it's aged enough that it's actually not going to be hopefully growing a lot of weeds or burning the plants. So I'm hoping that if you're thinking about gardening, this has given you some ideas, and I will talk at you later.